Yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on? What's good? What's happening, y'all? The Boxing Source is back. This is a July 9th, 2023 episode of the Boxing Source podcast here. Your host, Jay Spell, leader of the Boxing Source on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Of course, you have the YouTube channel here, where we talk about various topics. So we have various interviews and things like that. But this time around, we wanted to talk about this bout that happened last night. Jaron Boots Ennis, Roman Villa. That was over in Atlantic City, and just to be straight up with y'all, man. Like had the trip up to Atlantic City. Drove, about what is it, about over 3.5 hours, pretty much close to 4 hours over to Atlantic City. Then, not that long after the fight, drove back. Didn't basically get settled in until 7 a.m. this morning. 7 a.m. this morning. That's just being straight up with you. And whew, boy, I'm still feeling the effects of it. Had some rest or whatever it is, but still really haven't fully recovered from being out there in Atlantic City, man. Didn't quite get out until what was it, like about two a.m. A little bit after 2 a.m. And just have the drive back in. It's still I'm still having the effects of it right now. So trying to see if I could get through this particular um, podcast. Talk about all of these all the bouts that happened on the card in Atlantic City, and also what happened outside of that. So we're gonna break things down here. Big ups to all of those here that are listening live here on the Boxing Source. We want to talk about Jerome Boots Ennis and his performance in Atlantic City against Roman Villa. Roman Villa, it was coming off, of course, I would say the biggest win of his career. When he defeated Rashidi Ellis, in January over in Washington D.C. And you had Boots Ennis on the same card against Karen Chukadzian. And um, of course, Boots Ennis had his performance or whatnot against Karen Chukadzian, and some people were quick to react on that. And with Roman Villa getting a decision win over Rashidi Ellis, that pretty much set the stage for the bout that took place yesterday. Big ups to Joseph Aaron here. Checking in on the live, getting into you. Like I said, man, I'm still, you know, trying to recover from, being out there in Atlantic City last night. It's doing these things. Going from one site or one area to another, and coming right back. Yeah, that's kind of taking a lot. And actually, I just felt like this time around, it seemed like it took me longer to get to Atlantic City than previous times I've seen fights out there. And yeah, this one, it really, really did a number on me, just to be honest. But back to the thing on the fight, yo. What we got. Jaron Ennis came in there undefeated, of course. 30-0, 28 of those wins by way of knockout. Roman Villa coming in with a record of 26-1, with 24 of those wins by way of knockout. And pretty much like had Villa, was one of those guys that was pretty much around that top 15 or top 10 of the welterweight division. Of course, with Jerome Boots Ennis, folks are saying like, "Hey, man, this is the guy that's coming up or whatnot." You know what I'm saying? This is the fighter that a lot of people were excited about, and that has had been spectacular. In many of his previous fights, it was just what he had in the fight against Karen Chikadzian that kind of had people scale back a little bit. Big ups to Bruce Gas in the building. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, more in the building. Salute to you, man, for being on the live podcast here. Yeah, back to it. Yeah, man. Boots Ennis, had his performance or whatnot against Karen Chikazian, and a number of people kind of like felt like you might have to scale back a little bit on it, on the hype for Boots Ennis. But then we have this bout with Roman Villa. Like I said, Roman Villa is a guy that had all but two of his wins by way of knockout. And that was something where they said, hey, I mean, Roman Villa's a hard hitter. You pretty much seen that against Rashidi Ellis, and now we got to see what happens with Boots Ennis in this bout. Put him in Atlantic City. Had him as a headliner, to see, what he do there as a main event headliner, a Showtime boxing card. And the atmosphere out there was, pretty good, man. I mean, I know that the venue, is probably, one of those venues that, isn't necessarily one of what I would say is a large venue, but still a good atmosphere for boxing. Of course, they've had multiple fights out there at the Boardwalk Hall over the years. So, to have something like this particular event be, back in there, that was, something. So, we wanted to see like how Jaron would do it as the top guy there, or the headliner in this card. And, kind of like seeing this particular matchup to be, something where I felt like Boots would show out, so to speak. Roman Villa is somebody that was a tough, come at you first, feed forward, forward momentum, try to get at you, and he would try to, he would take a few shots in order to land them. Seen that in his last fight against Rashidi Ellis. Rashidi Ellis was pretty successful, landing a few shots, on Roman Villa, over the course of those first 4 rounds or so. But, nothing that really kind of phased Roman Villa. And so what ended up happening was Villa started to get back and come back towards the latter part of the fight. And, hey, he ended up getting the win with scoring 2 knockdowns in the 12th round. But here against Jaron Boots Ennis, someone that has speed, power, movement, defense. Yeah, it was. Man, that was like I said, a high level performance there by Jaron Boots Ennis. You kind of like seen it early in the bout. The difference in speed, difference in movement and everything like that. That Jaron Ennis really didn't have, a Roman Villa get much offense off, especially in those first couple of rounds. You really didn't see that much activity from Roman Villa. Everything came from Jaron Boots Ennis in those first couple of rounds, and it almost looked like it was going to be an early night of sorts, because it seemed like Jaron Ennis was landing a lot of power shots on Roman Villa. Already had, Villa bloody by the nose early in the fight, and so it was, more of, seeing when he was going to be able to take down Roman Villa. But Villa was tough. Like I said, he's a tough fighter, very tough fighter. And, he was able to land some good shots on Jaron Ennis, over the course of this fight, particularly after the 3rd and 4th rounds. But, nothing that kind of like would shift the momentum to Roman Villa, or in Roman Villa's favor, man. I mean, you had those couple of instances, but you kind of seen everything that was coming from Roman Villa. And so Jaron Boots Ennis just utilized, most of the tools that he has, in his repertoire, where he was, fighting on the orthodox stance and switching to southpaw, and landing the right jab, pretty much almost every time on Roman Villa. Villa just really couldn't uh, get the timing down. He would have his hands up, but he doesn't really move his head. So that kind of like almost made it close to target practice for Jaron Ennis. There in that instance, and you kind of seen how he was entertaining the crowd on multiple occasions, over the course of his fight. Kind of like showing things off, showing some movement, switching stances, or dancing a little bit, and just landing 2 punch combinations or whatever it is. And the crowd there in Atlantic City was really enjoying that. You know, but I felt like it was more about him, showing that, hey, against a guy that really doesn't move his head that much, doesn't really have that much foot movement, really could shine or show out. Boots really didn't have to chase around Roman V in this fight. Really didn't have to do that. So it was more about him just like taking his time, seeing where he could land his shots, and he was able to do that with no problems. Boots Ennis just showed out over the course of under 10 rounds, as he was able to eventually stop, or they pretty much like the referee called it a knockout after Boots Ennis knocked down Roman Villa in the 10th round. And it was the first time that Roman Villa had been down to the canvas. But by that time he was taking so much punishment, particularly around the 7th and 8th rounds, and it was like, since the referee didn't stop the fights after the end of those rounds in the corner, it was more about like Boots Ennis just saying, "Hey man, I got him." And then once he was able to score that knockdown, and the referee stopped it, the crowd just went crazy. So yeah, Boots Ennis there, still undefeated, now with his 30th professional win. That's like his 28th win there by way of knockout, or I'd say 31st win. Actually, he's 31-0 now. 31-0, 28 KOs. Defends that interim title there, the IBF title, interim IBF championship there for the welterweight division. And yeah, I just felt like that was just a great overall performance there, by Jaron Boots Ennis. And it was something where we kind of like took things to the point of just saying, hey, I got all of these tools, in the toolbox, and that as long as I'm around the right opponent that's there, looking to win the fight, yeah, I could pretty much show that. And that's what he got. You had someone that was able to show all of the tools that he had, that people that kind of like seen from him in the past. It was just that Roman Villa was the right opponent to do that. And I just felt like that was the right. I felt like it was the right opponent as well. I think someone like a Karen Chikazian, maybe a Rashidi Ellis or somebody like that. You kind of like get a little bit more movement out of those fighters, so it might take a little time for Boots to get to him. But with Roman Villa, he was, like I said, the right opponent to show how many skills that Jaron Boots Ennis has, and he says like he is ready to be the next guy in the welterweight division. I want to bring in one guest here to talk about that performance by Jaron Boots Ennis, contributor here, and that's the boxing academic in the building. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, JR? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm still recovering, man. Like I said, that was like a all nighter going out to Atlantic City. Like I ain't leave my area until probably around like 2:30 p.m. Got to Atlantic City around 6:30, and then left there at 2 a.m. Got back here like around 7 a.m. Man, that was a trip. That was a trip. I'll tell you that, man. But
Oh, so you drove at night?
yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
man, you
But
gotta
it
let me
was.
know you're doing that so I can talk you out of doing that, man.
Man, yeah. That those 3 4 hour wins. Those are like real stretches, man. You know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. How was the attendance at the fight?
Oh, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a small venue, but they were able to pack that venue, and the fans definitely enjoyed that particular bout. He had of course a couple of fights before that, and they didn't necessarily you know enjoy them all too much, except for maybe the co-feature. The co-feature bout, they were a little bit happy about, but that first bout that was on the Showtime card, they were really disappointed in that. It went De Los Santos, Joseph Adorno fight, but the main event, they were really really happy to see that particular performance and how that ended up.
So were they a very vocal crowd? Like, I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was New York, but it's somewhere where they go, and the crowd is real vocal. They'll boo or clap. They just the mood changes kind of quickly. I forgot what crowd that was.
Well, I don't know if it's like the theater of Madison Square Garden or like Barclays Center, maybe, or something like that, but kind of it may be like that,
Yeah,
or something like a spot in Philly, like the Liacris Center in Philly. But yeah, if the fight doesn't really have that much action, they'll let you know. They'll let you know quick.
gotcha, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Can you give your brief synopsis one more time? I didn't catch it.
Well, yeah, just to rehash the thing there with Boots Ennis' win over Roman Villa. I just felt like before the fight, or with the preview of sorts, I just felt like Roman Villa was the type of opponent that Boots Ennis needed in order for him to showcase or show what he's done in the past. Before you know his bout against Karen Chikadze, he what was like 29-0 or so, before that bout, and had like 27 KOs. So a lot of the fights that he had, he ended up, stopping, overwhelming, and everything like that. So uh, when he had the bout against Chikazian, it was just that he really couldn't, corner or get to Chikazian to really, hurt him. And because of that performance, it was just like a lot of people, weren't really happy about that, specifically since it was like in a high stage area, being there to co-feature for Tank Davis, when he fought Hector Luis Garcia. So, packed crowd at the Capital One Arena, and you're the co-feature, and you go through 12 rounds against Karen Chikazi, and then not being able to score a knockdown and not really, be able to hurt Chikazi in that much. So, a lot of people were disappointed on that. So, it had to see if you could have someone else there that could, really bring up engagement. Therefore, Boots Ennis and Roman Villa was that type of guy. So, with Villa just being there right in front of you, you don't really have to do much as far as like movement to, get to him. And he doesn't really move his head all too well either. So you really don't have to, worry about, completely missing shots that much. He'll come back with a counter while he takes the shot. But outside of that, like if you like utilize the jab pretty well, and follow that up with a couple of combinations here and there, you pretty much could have him. and that's exactly what Boots did there over the course of within the 10 rounds.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. So this weekend I was at a domino tournament. So I was at a little domino tournament. You know, I love dominoes, man. So outside of boxing with you, I play dominoes. So I had to catch it on my phone. But yeah, I definitely agree with your assessment in terms of Vita. And I mean, he was right in front of Boots. Um, First thing I noticed about Boots, don't get me wrong, I noticed this about Boots in his other fights, but I'm paying more attention to him because obviously you want to see how good he is when you project him to face higher competition.
Mm-hmm.
And so he definitely got all the goods. He obviously, that Philly style. We can see that Philly style of how they are cerebral. They like trying stuff. They like to get in your chest. They like to, move their head to one side, do sort of like Anglo wrestling tactics and stuff. Like certain things that they love to do to get uppercuts on the inside and, just random things. So he just put me in mind of take this with a grain of salt for people listening, because I don't want nobody to say I'm being disrespectful or anything, but he put me in mind of, a more athletic J-Rock, who move his head more than J-Rock, because J-Rock's head movement is probably one of his downfalls, that he don't move his head at all. But speaking of head movement, that's one thing that I notice about Boots that will get him in trouble at some point when he faces high level competition. So Boots rely too much. Same way we spoke about last week with Jared Anderson. He relies too much on his athleticism to get away from punches. And he does the flashy Roy Jones, major miss. And so in my mind, what I remember, there's quite a few times where he would, he'd be leaning in on the front foot. I mean, simpler like a pull counter, but he'd be leaning in on the front foot, and then he would slip the punch by not necessarily like slipping down to the side or something or whatever, but he would just literally just go straight back. Or if he did go to the side, he would turn his head 90 degrees, like in line with his shoulder, and he would dodge the punch that way, and it missed. But I'm simply saying, if he continues to do that and not use good practices outside of dodging punches, doing that one or two times, cool. But if that's your primary thing of dodging punches with your hands down and you turn your head to the left to miss a punch, somebody gonna bait you to do that, and then they gonna clean your clock. So for me, Boots got all the goods. Well, let me say something else. I'm gonna say something. Boots got all the goods. I see things in his defense that will not be helpful to him when he faces higher level competition, because the stuff you get away with lesser competition is not the same stuff you get away with when you face the higher competition. And Wheatley saw that, the great example of that with Jared Anderson the week before. I do question something about Boots. We see Boots can do a lot of different things. The way that people describe Terrence Crawford in this fight is how I see Boots. He can do a lot of things. But to me, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this to not sound, like differential or whatever I'm trying to say here. I've seen a couple different styles from Boots, but if he's not necessarily like, he broke Buddy down yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't think he was frustrated, but I saw
What, like a little bit, an element of surprise or something?
I'm trying to say maybe what I'm conflating here is that he took his time and he just broke old buddy down. But
Yeah.
in the process of doing that, the way that he did it was in his chest and dodging punches and things like that. And so I also get that with that crowd, fighting off the back foot is not probably the best option because they would have been very vocal about that as they were vocal in other fights.
Mm.
He stayed in the chest and and was missing and countering stuff. But my question is Boots can do a lot of things, but do you know how Errol Spence has his one style and he break people down and he get people out of there. Um Terrence Crawford has sort of a countering style and he get people out of there. Boots has sort of the he's more athletic than probably both of them guys.
Hmm.
And he has the Roy Jones's style and then he gets you out of there. But I don't know. I guess I'm just simply trying to say that knockout didn't happen until like round 8. Maybe I'm shorting him a few rounds here. 10.
Yep.
Well, there you go. That's even better for me. It didn't happen until round 10. How effective? Like, okay, I get he was standing the dude chest, and that was his plan. He out Mexican style old buddy, and it was it was beautiful to watch. But I just asked myself if that style not work. It didn't. At some point, I was like, okay, this ain't as effective as I expected it to be. Maybe that's my expectation going wrong. You may not be trying to get what I'm trying to say, but I'm asking. I know he can do a lot of things, but is his fights going to be if he ain't fighting somebody that we know he much better than, is he just gonna win by the hair on his chin, or is he gonna go out there and get these guys out of here? You know, Ideally with that style, he should with the counter and strike with that Philly style. Ideally, he should do that, but is he though?
Well, I mean, you got two things. Well, one, you know that of course, Boots Ennis is very confident that he could beat anybody there in the welterweight division, and that he just doesn't see anyone out there that could pose many problems for him. Same goes for his trainers, who is his father, Coach Bozy Ennis. Bozy has been very confident in saying that Boots beats anybody that's out there in the welterweight division right now. That his attributes are more than what any other fighter at welterweight pretty much has at this point. So whether it's like Ariel Spence or Terrence Crawford or a Iamana Stanionis or Jordanis Ugas or Keith Thurman, like it really wouldn't matter. Like he feels like Boots would be able to properly adjust to whatever those fighters have, and what comes back is going to be more than what they give to him. You know, but in this particular bout against Royman Villa, I felt like he, like I said, he had to utilize all of his skills, not just from an offensive standpoint, but from a defensive standpoint. I know that you pointed out that with what happened in the bout with Villa is that, one, he did get caught a couple of times, but two, the way that he you know takes punches sometimes is that he'll pretty much dodge or to try to like be there at one point to where it seems like the target is there for his opponent, and then once his opponent throws a punch, then he'll like slip it, or he'll use his head to go straight back or something like that. You know what I mean? Nothing like a bobbin style or whatever it is, like how Tyson Fury utilizes a lot or whatnot. But something to where it's like, okay, if I see the punch, either I could block the punch because he'll have like his hand up, particularly if he throws a punch and then expects something to come back from his opponent, like with Villa. You've seen that a couple of times. Is that when Villa throws like a power hook, you'll have Boots have his hand up. So it's more of like him, catching those shots and just seeing what happens with that. But outside of that, I just feel like he just utilized a number of things uh, to show his skills. Now, Boxing Academic, do you have anything real quick before I bring this next guest on?
I mean, just simply that. I mean, Boots definitely showed his skills. I agree that he's more athletic than Terrence Crawford and Spence, and it's just a matter of seeing him hone his skills against actually really live dogs, and to see how good he really is, and on both ends of it, because them punches he was taking last night, if Keith Thurman hitting him with them, it's gonna be a different story. Now with his style, him landing them punches or throwing them punches, it won't take him long to find Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman can throw punches back at him. So,
okay, gotcha. Now it seems like another guest has joined in here. Pretty much has like this is an interesting caption here, an interesting title for the name. Thankful that this person is able to join in, but I'll just bring him in here. So let's see what this person has to say. Let's see. Let's go. Oh my God.
Mike Grady.
yes, sir.
You don't know shit about boxing. Come on, man. Come on. How you gonna criticize the young boy?
How about do it,
How you gonna criticize the young boy?
Matt? You take that drink out your hand before you come on goddamn social media talking about me. I can hear the glass right now. I can hear the ice in that glass, and I
Listen
can
here.
see that white lady to your. I can picture that white lady over there to your left that's drinking that drink over there with you. She just finished her cigarette. How you doing, Matt? Man, we ain't heard
I'm,
from you in a while. I thought you you was like, I know you be on Twitter sometimes. I'm like, I said to James that I think this dude sold us out or something.
nah, come on, man. Y'all the home team. Come on. You guys are the PBC of YouTube boxing.
You
Come on, man.
should.
You gotta roll with
Hey,
the home
what
team.
have you done for us lately?
Hey, listen, man. I'm here now, okay? How
Okay,
about that?
we ain't gonna focus on the past. We only here to focus on
Yeah,
the future.
we don't talk about
Exactly.
the past.
Now, why would you say that Boots wasn't in with a real live dog yesterday? Everybody, didn't you pick Rashidi Ellis over Via?
Uh, yeah, I mean, probably yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so how'd that go?
So that's the
How'd
dude who
that work
beat.
out?
That's the dude who beat Rashidi Ellis. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Let's
mean,
do that.
I mean, to what I am saying is that Villa is probably better than what I remember, because it did take Boots 10 rounds to truly find him. And
No,
so
no,
part of
it
that,
didn't take 10 rounds to find him. It took him 10 rounds to get him out of there. To me, uh, Via has a great chin. That's what it is.
yeah, 10 rounds to get him out. He did find him earlier. And so I just, you know, I was kind of. I mean, Villa definitely had a good chin because he did get hit with some shots, but he was hitting Boots back with some shots as well. So
Well, you got to remember, Villa almost has a perfect KO percentage. So he's very powerful. The dude is very powerful, man. He's a heavy hitter, as Rashidi Ellis found out.
Hmm.
And a lot of people were saying that this was going to be a war, but this was a one-sided war. You know, if
yeah, it
this was a
was.
war, this was the war in Iraq, where we just beat the hell out of him. And I think Boots showed that he is ready for prime time. And as these belts are about to fracture, so that's what's going to happen. You're going to get your undisputed for one fight, and then the belts are going to fracture. After that happens, it's going to be a free for all for the remaining belts. Boots is going to be the IBF, because he's already the interim. Okay, Stanionis is going to be the WBA. Okay, you're going to have the winner of Keith Thurman versus Jonas Ugas. They're going to be the WBC. And then we'll see what happens with WBO. Could it be Alexis Rocha or Cody Crawley? Something like that. These guys are going to. Boots is basically, he's in the catbird seat. As long as he can make 147, there's going to be nobody that's going to be able to fuck with him.
He's in the what seat?
Catbird seat.
Uh, I don't understand this slang that you're speaking. Can you use different words to describe that?
That means he's sitting at the top. He's sitting on top of the perch.
Catbird.
Yes.
That's some New York stuff.
So,
No.
how have you never heard that before?
Catbird.
Yeah, they catbird seat. You ever heard that term before?
I plead the
Man,
fifth.
man.
So what
That's
you think about him?
uncultured.
His defense and how he get away from punches with his hands down.
I think he has flaws. Nobody's a perfect fighter. I mean, but what fighter doesn't get hit? Nobody has a 0% landing percentage against. Everybody gets hit. It's just a matter of how often are you getting hit with punches that you don't see. I
Hmm.
haven't seen him get hit with nothing you don't see.
Somebody said in the chat, Rashidi was out for 2 years. He was only conditioned for a 10 rounder.
So,
But
everybody has
but
excuses.
he beat Alexis Rocha in the 12 round fight.
Exactly. Everybody has excuses. You know, it is what it is. Everybody has excuses. Boots did what he was supposed to do, and he did it in spectacular fashion. Like it got to the point where Sampson actually went to the corner at the round before and told him to stop the fight. Like Boots was putting in work the whole time. He was putting in work the whole time. He told him, "Yo, stop the fight." Even Steven Espinosa went over to the corner and was like, "Yo, y'all
Yep.
might want to stop this."
Hmm.
So it's not like. Did you ever think Boots was in trouble at any point in the fight?
No, I don't think I don't think you getting what I'm saying. The first comments that I said about Boots is that this to me showed me that he can do a lot of things. And then I gave him, I did the compliment sandwich, man. I said all the positive things. Maybe you came in for the middle where you only heard the negative.
Uh, I don't think you could be negative about last night's performance. I
Nope.
think that was a great performance.
Yes, it was, but no one is above criticism.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, no one's above criticism, but like where we had met yesterday, you kind of seen that. Okay, maybe Boots Ennis is the next guy up because of the circumstances that's going to happen with the world titles. They're eventually going to be split up, after
Yeah.
29th. So, just going off the question, that's on the main topic. Is Boots Ennis the next great welterweight? And pretty
Yeah,
much
I
that's
mean, it's his to lose. It's definitely his to lose. And I don't see them other guy unless he when he raised his level of competition, we see some glaring issues because again, I'm just putting him in the same vein with J Rock. J Rock to me before that Jamal Charlo fight, J Rock was a tough out. J Rock took a lot of good punches. He had that Philly style. He was tough. He was in your chest. You could tell he was a cerebral fighter. And then once we realized J Rock chin was compromised, only thing you got to do is just touch J Rock on the chin. J Rock got all the skills in the world, but if you hit him one time on the chin, that don't mean nothing. Boots is not J Rock. Let me say that because James is looking
Yes.
at me. But I'm just saying we need to see him face somebody who is alive, who where the fight is competitive, and he faces adversity to see like what flaws he actually has, and how does that stack up against Keith Thurman and I mean he gonna beat Ortiz and Stanionis.
Ortiz is done at 147.
Yeah, he's done. He's well done at 147.
Yeah, he might be
He
done,
was supposed to
period.
have
But
that
that's a
fight.
whole nother story.
Yeah, he was supposed to have that fight against Stanionis last night, and it didn't happen because he ended up being overweight. What was that you said about Ortiz, Matt?
I said he might be done, period.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
who knows with that? But I think Stanionis will be a good matchup for Boots. Stanionis, pressure fighter, smart fighter, gives people a lot of angles. I think he will be a good matchup for Boots. I'd
He
like
too
to see
slow though.
Boots. Quicker than you think.
Man, I remember that one Stanionis fight. I don't know who it was, but that dude was touching Stanionis. Stanionis just outwheeled him.
You talking about against Butayev?
Say it again.
Butayev?
I'm not sure.
Now, I would say something about that, but I'm going to skip it as of right now. But I mean, you have the other fighters there at welterweight. Like you said, Keith Thurman, your Dennis Ugas, Iamana Stanionis, Cody Crowley. Um, yeah, I don't think he'll have an instance where he faces Alexis Rocha, but just going off of the list of those other welterweights out there, like who would you kind of like say is where Boots would be an underdog against? You know, like what fighter would it be an underdog against? Coming
He's
off
not
of
an underdog against any of them. And I don't think that the guy that's gonna fight Boots is even at 147 right now. There is a certain fighter that fights at 140 from Capitol Heights, Maryland, who
mm,
beat Boots in the amateurs, who
mm,
might want to go up against Boots sometime in the future. I think that's the fight that we need to look out for.
Who's that fighter?
It goes by the name of Gary Antoine Russell.
Oh yeah, I figured that's who he was talking about.
mm. Uh, shout out to Pound for Pound Sports in the building. Yes, somebody did say Keith Thurman. Of course, that's his guy Keith Thurman. But I'm like, hey, thing is, we don't know where Keith Thurman is at this particular point of his career. But hey, some people put in the vote. They says they the best 147 pounder out there outside of Spencer Crawford is Mr. Keith Thurman Jr. So
I'm not mad at that.
huh?
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Keith Thurman did a recent interview with on the whatever podcast, and I think he does well in publicizing himself, and then even just the way he goes about analyzing the fights. And I think I'd be interested in seeing all of it. You know, obviously we know the biggest glaring demerit on Keith Thurman is his body, his ability to take body shots, and that's gonna always be his Achilles heel, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah, but pretty much like goes into like who's able to properly exploit that. That's the thing.
Exactly. Because in order to get to his body, you got to go through fire.
Yep, you gotta be able to go through fire. And is someone like like a Boots Ennis ready to do that? Who knows? Or someone like a Stanionis. But I mean, you have as of right now, you have it locked in that Keith Thurman is fighting Yordenis Ugas in August. There from a matchup standpoint, I favor Keith Thurman in that. We just got to see like how he's going to be able to do there against Ugas, and then after that, is he willing to fight someone like a Boots Ennis? Initially, Boots said after the fight that he wanted to go after Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was the fighter that he wanted to fight. And that didn't happen. So it ended up being Roman Villa. So we'll see what happens here after August if Keith Thurman says, "Hey, I know what's going on in the top of the division. Let's see if you go after someone like a Boots Ennis, especially if there's a situation like Matt said where the belts end up getting dispersed or whatever it is after July 29th. So we'll see what happens. Shout out to the live chat on here. Chip Bayless says reference to Keith Thurman. He said has had time off. The body is good. He just needs to get back active. But before we go on, we got like a little bit. Yo, what's up?
About time you told Matt to roll his window up.
It's not pretty much that. He's
I'm messing with you.
But we got another guest in here. He was, there in attendance at Atlantic City for this fight. Saw him out there. He was doing his thing, of course. He has, his channel here on YouTube, of course, coming out of Philly. It's YSM Sports Media in the building. What's happening?
I came looking for smoke. Where's Mike at?
I'm here, sir. How you doing? It's been a while.
Mike, this is not a good look, Mike. You're better than this, Mike.
I'm better than this. I should have straight allegiance to him, right?
No, Mike, you saw a spectacular performance, Mike. That's what you saw.
Yes, I did.
You saw a systematic beatdown from a guy. Wait, which fights did you want to see Boots in previously before Kareem Chikazi?
What fight did I want to see him in?
Yeah, was Rashidi Ellis one of those fights that you were intrigued about?
I mean, I'm sure he would beat him very easily, but or easy enough.
Before he fought Roman Villa, did you think that was going to be an intriguing fight?
Did I think that was going to be what fight?
An intriguing fight. Mike,
yes.
Mike playing coy. Okay.
Yes.
So Roman Villa defeats Rashidi Ellis, right?
Yep.
And then Boots goes out there and destroys him.
Domination,
So there's a clear separation between Rashidi Ellis and Jaron Ennis.
Yeah, but we already knew that though. But yes.
Whoa. You saying we already knew that, but JR will tell you that at one time before Roman Villa and before the layoff was a conversation, was it not?
Yeah.
Some people had said that Boots was a bum beater. Remember, Rashidi had beat Alexis Roca, and Boots hadn't had a notable win at that point in time yet. So
didn't Villa knock him out, Rashidi Ellis?
No, he didn't knock him out.
No, he didn't knock him out.
He knocked him down at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so he gets destroyed from pillar to post, and you criticize. Why?
Because as I told Matt, no one is above criticism. And the reason why I criticize is that I like Boots. I think when, as James said, the belts get, we get our undisputed champion, and then the belts disperse. Boots is going to be one of the guys who has the next opportunity to put back the gauntlet and the Infinity Stones. He's gonna be one of them guys that's got the glove and putting them Infinity Stones back together. And so when it comes to him facing Keith Thurman, as the time goes, it's gonna be his name gonna be less viable. But I'm simply saying him, the way he was dodging punches, his defense, it reminds me of Roy Jones in terms of spirit, where Roy Jones used his athleticism no different than Jared Anderson a week before. He's so used to using his athleticism to get rid of punches to where when he raises his level of competition, the stuff that he's able to do against the lower, I agree. Villa ain't no C- level fighter. He's a good fighter, but the things that he's able to get away with good fighters, when he face somebody very good or great, he ain't gonna be able to get away with that same stuff. So I'm saying, that stuff, the small things cost people, and I'm saying he just, that's something that he needs to work on. I love that Philly style. And the point I made was with J Rock. I thought J Rock was very tough. He was a tough out. But once we saw him face Charlo, and then we saw his Achilles heel, which was when he get touched on the chin, all that skill go out the window. I'm saying I don't want that to happen for Boots. Boots is more athletic than J Rock, by the way, but I don't want that to happen to Boots. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so let me. You're not wrong, but I feel like you're taking it overboard. Now, let me explain why. So when you saw Muhammad Ali go up against Sonny Liston, right? Did you critique the little intricacies of Ali pulling straight back, or did you enjoy the performance and talk about how much good he did?
So that's not fair. That's not fair.
It's no. My point is, it's very fair, because a lot of times what we do is we pick apart these guys. Is any fighter out there perfect?
No.
Who's the best two welterweights in the division, in your opinion?
The two that's facing off in the belt.
Okay, so can I sit there and critique every one of your performances? I can say, if Earl Spence comes with that plain hoagie high guard, that an elite caliber fighter could use that to his advantage. Could they not?
Yeah, that's what's going to make the fight so intriguing.
Okay, and I could say that Terrence Crawford pulls straight back a lot, pulls out in the pocket a lot. I could say when facing a higher caliber fighter, that's going to get him in trouble, right?
That's what's going to make the fight intriguing again.
Okay, so if Jaron Ennis reaches Terrence Crawford pound for pound level, right? 3-division world champ, undisputed in 1, 36-0, whatever, right? Is his career a success?
Yes, of course.
But I just gave you a flaw that Terrence Crawford has, but that doesn't always get mentioned. When you talk about Terrence Crawford, a lot of times you talk about his success, what he does well, instead of picking apart every little flaw and every little weakness.
Well, I'm different than a lot of other people, so I definitely pick out the flaws of other people. And again, I'm simply saying that because in my mind, I'm trying to translate Boots fighting guys like them. And so for me, I'm saying, yes, we know the performance yesterday showed me that Boots can do a lot of things. That is clear. Boots is very athletic. I feel like the dude can do like backflips off ropes and stuff, just the way he fight. But if he fight that next level competition, yeah, you got to pick him apart, because that's the difference between making an emotional. To me, that's the difference between making an emotional pick. Emotional mean basing it off of, like, some people pick these fights and, like, for example, if you only base your pick, to me, only off of Terrence Crawford's successes or what he's able to do, and you don't think about his flaws, that is not a great pick. If you only base your pick on Errol Spence's positives and you don't base it off his flaws, it's not a great pick. Versus looking at both of their strengths and flaws, I gotta lean towards Spence, even though you're right. Crawford can and probably will take advantage of some aspects of that high guard, but the way that Terrence Crawford goes back and not being able to throw so many punches, this ain't about them, so I'm gonna not talk about them. But I gotta lean towards Spence.
Yeah, but Mike, I'm about to make my point to you though.
Yes, sir.
So for every one of those things that you can say about Boots relies on athleticism, I'm gonna keep it a bean. He's more skilled than Roy Jones. He operates off of more technique than Roy Jones does. Roy Jones is like pure athleticism. Boots mixes the pure athleticism. While it's not on the level of Roy Jones might be the greatest athlete I've ever seen in the boxing ring. He uses more fundamentals than Roy Jones.
That's true. The Philly style is a great style.
Could a fighter take advantage? A fighter of a higher caliber take advantage of certain things that Boots does? Of course, but a higher caliber fighter can take advantage of some things that he doesn't do everything perfect. Nobody was able to take advantage. Errol Spence doesn't do everything perfect. Nobody's ever been able to take advantage to get a W. Terrence Crawford, and so on and so on. And what I'm saying is, you can pick out certain weaknesses, but don't let you picking out certain flaws overpower the good and the success that you saw last night. That's like Michael Jordan dropped 50, he shoot 22 of 28, but you talking about the 6 misses.
Can I just say one thing to that?
Yeah, go ahead, and then I got another guest coming in.
The only thing about that is that you're right. Michael Jordan, LeBron, whoever dropped 50. If that's what they focus on, and they don't, when they do go back to the gym and say, okay, we know I dropped 50, but what about the small thing that I didn't do that I need to work on situationally? You know, what about that? When they in boxing is different. If you don't do that, so Mike, Anthony Joshua,
you're not their trainer, but Mike, you're not their trainer though. You're not them. I'm telling you just to enjoy the performance. Like it's for him to be a perfectionist. It's for Mr. Bozier to be a perfectionist, right? You got like you're not even giving him time to give him his props, bro. You just coming on here talking about the 6 misses.
I clapped for him before you got on the show. But if I didn't look at both sides, Jamil, I wouldn't be the boxing academic, man. Yeah, it makes you chop that shit up. Chop that shit up, JR. That shit sounded good. Chop that shit up, man.
So if it was 10 things that you saw.
Well, hold on, real quick. Mike.
Oh, this nigga.
Mike, how's your shoulder? How's your shoulder?
Matt, you rolled up the window?
How's your shoulder, Mike? Because you was patting yourself on the back real hard just now. What was that? You just put yourself over. Like what?
I mean, I saw one. Jamil gave me one to like pat myself though. I've never done that on this show. I've never done that. But I like talking about both sides. Jamil, let me ask you a question. If this wasn't Boots, would you have any problem with us critiquing another fighter?
I don't have a problem with anybody critiquing fighters. I got a problem with a dude gets a big win and the first thing you open up with is with critique. So if it was 10 things that you saw, you opened up with the one thing that was bad.
No, I said all the good stuff on the front end.
I got a text message that said Mike Grady was throwing an epic amount of shade, man.
Oh dang, JR just wanted ratings for his show. JR wanted ratings for his show.
Man. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying.
Matt got hate in his blood. Matt too busy drinking them carbs over there. Matt don't know what's going on.
I do it to people that do it to Edgar Berlanga. Like that's just how I am. It's like, yo,
where Edgar Berlanga from?
New York.
Don't down that hill, Jamil. Don't down that Edgar Berlanga hill.
No. What I'm saying is,
I'll go with you on the
it
boots, but
doesn't.
don't down that hill.
No. Hear me out. Dudes do with the Edgar Berlanga. They only bring up the bad. There's a lot of good with Edgar Berlanga, right? There's a lot of things he does well. A lot of times, as boxing fans, we just like these unhappy, just grumpy dudes that we just
I
focus
agree.
on the
Mike
bad
Grady is
all
always
the time.
miserable.
What fights we not getting? What this fighter can't do? Okay, well, what can he do? Just like in basketball and football, right? All right, LeBron James isn't the greatest outshot shooter, but he does a lot of things well. But Mike Grady will just come on, oh man, LBJ, he shot 1 for 4 from 3. Damn, Mike, but he had 45, 15, and 12, and they won. Yeah, but the 3, man, and then, man, he'll never be as great of a player. Damn, Mike, just give him his props.
Jamil, I think you sensationalizing it a bit, man. I simply am saying it for conversation. I want to use Jared Anderson for example. When we was talking about Jared Anderson and breaking Jared Anderson down, I said it simply exactly. I ain't say verbatim what was going to happen, but I simply questioned and said with what he does and him never having to really, like, he be in the ring clowning a bit and never had to like lock it in. And so you saw that get exploited in a sense against Charles Martin, which was a great thing for him because it showed us he could persevere. To me, that's the funnest part about, breaking down these fighters because we can project like what happens in those fights. And the beautiful part about it, even after that, is to say, okay, they got these flaws, but what do they need to do? If they did this, how would they become a more complete fighter? So all I was simply saying with Boots is that, I would like, I ain't a trainer, I ain't in whatever. I'm just a sideline sitter eating popcorn and stuff. But like I just want him to make sure he work on that other stuff. But when he faced the higher competition, so it won't be no. Let me think of who got clipped. It won't be no him getting clipped by some person he shouldn't get clipped by.
Word. Now, before I added the guest, probably added the guest here after about, we're at about the hour and 1 hour and 2 minute section. Big ups to Steph here for pitching in with the $5 holla. God be with you, my brothers. So,
Bass Reeves
$5 contribution. Bringing in the next guest here to talk about the performance by Jaron Boots, and it's coming from Warweek Radio Network. Brother Joseph Heron in the building. What's happening?
Hey, man, it's great to see you, James, and thank you for supporting, always being the professional and covering these live fights. We love your coverage. And, guys, once again, please don't forget to bookmark theboxingsource.net for all of your original content regarding boxing. Also, don't forget to bookmark YSM Sports Media. You guys are both killing it, man. I love both of your coverage, and you guys are a credit to the sport. The credit to the business. Joe, I tell you what, though, and I'm going to tell you this, academic. Brother, there's a reason why promoters, networks, managers, fighters no longer listen to your belly aching asses any further. One, you guys aren't financially supporting the product any longer. And two, all you guys somewhere along the way, you guys tricked yourselves into thinking that it's a more insightful and intelligent way of looking at the product by constantly shitting on it and pointing out the negative. Now, I'll say this. Let's make a comparison to baseball, right? My Cincinnati Reds are number one right now, okay? They have what most critics and most fans claim to be the most entertaining, sensational player in baseball right now, and that's rookie Ellie De La Cruz, right? You don't see all of these critics and you don't see anyone pointing out all the strikeouts that he had so far. Okay, they don't point that shit out. And guess why? Because you don't build the sport. You don't promote the sport that way. Somewhere along the way, you guys tricked yourselves into thinking that it's a more intelligent way of viewing the product. Far from it. Quite the contrary. Okay, now once again, have you pointed out, academic, that he may be the reason why boxing is revived in Atlantic City again? Did you point that out? Because that is much, much more important than anything else that you've stated on this show. This guy may be responsible for reviving boxing in Atlantic City, and used to be Vegas of the East, but without an attraction. They haven't really shown any interest in boxing. Guess what? They have one now, guys. This is huge for the sport.
Can I respond?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet, brother.
Get him some more. Get him some more.
No, seriously, I'm happy to do it. Now, once again, guys, now keep in mind who he was fighting. Is he going to tighten the screws and be that lackadaisical against someone who is more technically proficient, like a Terrence Crawford? All right, he knows what his assignment was. Bozy is one of the best, most knowledgeable trainers in boxing. They eat, live, shit, breathe boxing. And you're going to tell them what they need to fix? Man, come on, dude. Enjoy the product. Enjoy what you saw last night. Now, Floyd Schofield, that guy's a much larger work in progress. But, dude, there is a lot to love about Jaron Boots Ennis. And if you're not seeing it, I feel bad for you. And now here's the last thing I'm going to say. Now, this is a question for you, Jamil. Can you hear me, Jamil? Are you still on, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, very good. Is he still with Cameron Duncan? Or is that contract already run out?
I honestly don't know. I
Well,
haven't
that
seen
is
Cameron.
something-
I haven't seen Cameron, so I don't know.
Okay, so that's a big question. I know that Mittendorf is still getting a percentage of his purses. I think, according to Mike Miller, the guy who handled the lawsuit, right? I know that he, according to the deposition, they still, I think, have 2 or 3 fights left on their contract. Is that affecting how frequently he competes? Because I would love to see him fight off-TV fights just to stay active and to stay sharp. I think that's a huge part of it, is he's not active enough. What say you, Jamil, about that?
I know he wants to fight 3 to 4 times a year. As far as the logistics of the lawsuit, I don't know. I don't ask. Like, Mr. Bozy's 68 years old, and a rule in our community, you don't ask a grown man too much about his business. So
yeah, well, you know what? It's a fair question because you are a journalist, and once again, you do a great job covering the sport. That's why I wanted to ask you. I thought you would know.
All right, let me respond back now.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
Joe, real fast, right? I am a journalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can say I'm slightly compromised because of my relationship with him. That
There
there's
is
certain
nothing
questions
wrong
that
with
I
that,
don't,
my friend.
that I won't ask. Yeah, so
That's right,
yeah,
because
I
they
can-
trust
I
you.
can
And
admit to
once
that.
again,
Yeah.
there's enough negativity floating around YouTube, right, where you can do that, and they appreciate it, and they deserve it. Like I said, once again, you look at any other sport, the way it's covered. Like I said, especially in baseball, Ellie De La Cruz, everyone is celebrating what a phenom this kid is. They don't point out all of his strikeouts, and he has a ton because he's a rookie. That's understandable, but you look at what this kid is doing. Yesterday, he stole home, and he made it look like a Little League game. That just heavily outweighs the negatives. And guess what they're putting a spotlight on? They're putting a spotlight on him stealing home. And do you know why? Because that promotes the sport. That sells the product. And if you look, all I can say is this to guys like Boxing Academic and guys who consistently ponder on the negative. I will say this. If you can't help, don't fucking hinder. Pardon my French. And then once I'm going to say it again. If you can't help, don't hinder.
All right, let me respond.
All right.
So
Before we respond, there's one note that Joseph Heron talked about a reference to the sport of baseball. He did talk about the Cincinnati Reds and them being at the top of baseball. No, it's the Atlanta Braves that are at the top of baseball.
No. I said first place in their division.
Yeah, they are first in the division.
But you have to admit, brother, that that series that we just fought, right? The Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds. That was like a heavyweight fight.
All right, let's get back on topic boxing so I can respond.
I've been listening to the entire show, brother.
Let's get back on topic so I can respond.
I've been
All
listening
right.
to this entire show.
I'm about to respond now. I'm about to respond.
Now let's hear it. What kind of bullshit comes out of your mouth today?
So first of all, Joseph, what you're not about to do is tell me what I am going to do. You carve your space out in boxing how you choose to carve your space out in boxing. And you have the right, the freedom, the liberty, whatever you want to call it, to do that. And however you want to be in boxing in your place, how you feel your place, I'm not there to tell you how to do that. Let me finish, Joseph. Let me finish. Let me finish, Joseph. Let me finish, Joseph. Let me finish. 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 Let me finish.
Finish then.
Let me finish. You have carved your space out in boxing, and I can only appreciate how you choose to move in boxing. On the corollary, if you look at the other side of that coin, other people get the right to do that as well, Joseph.
Yep.
I am not a journalist. I actually, if it wasn't for my boy JR, I actually wouldn't care about being journalist or whatever. I do that because my boy JR does it and he encourages me to do it. How I like to carve my space out in boxing is to analyze boxing. It's to talk about the science of boxing. It's to talk about the what ifs of boxing. And unfortunately, let me finish my point. Dude, unfortunately, and fortunately, when you talk about the science of boxing, you have to look at both the positives and the negatives. And the reason why, let me finish, Joseph. Let me finish, Joseph. Let me finish. And the reason why is because when you talk about matchups, when you talk about a potential matchup in any sport, you talk about the positives. But if you only base it off the positives, you only have a very one-sided story. It's only when you look at the negatives as well, which is y'all act like I came here and said Boots is y'all act like let me finish. You act like I came out here. Let me finish. You came in here and act like I said Boots is a fucking hype job, which I didn't say that. I said let me finish, Joseph. Joseph, let me finish. Let me finish, Joseph. Let me finish, Joseph. You act like I said Boots was sorry or something. I didn't say that. You're over sensationalizing what I said because you are emotional in however you feel about the boxing public. I ain't the boxing public. I'm the fucking boxing academic. And you treat me as such.
What the fuck does that mean? Look, dude,
you treat me as such. I analyze boxing.
Look, dude, you don't analyze boxing for shit. And I'm telling you this with great constructive criticism. No, hey, let me finish.
I'm going to let you talk because you
let me fucking talk, brother.
You sound very emotional right now, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? Because I'm tired of hearing this garbage. Look, dude, if you do like Jamil does, okay?
I'm going to do what the fuck I do. I'm not going to do what nobody else does. That's the problem, Joseph. You ain't finna tell me what to do. I get you want to, but guess what? I'm going to do what I do. And guess what that's going to include, Joseph? Me talking about the negative, Joseph. I'm going to judge and I'm going to critique and I'm going to say, based off of these critiques, this is how I think a fight would go. Based off these critiques, I think he would be a much better fighter. And guess what, Joseph? That's my right to do that because, again, my theme in boxing is the boxing academic. I analyze stuff. Why do you think I have this name? That's what I want to do in boxing. You're not going to tell me what to do, Joseph.
Okay, then shut the fuck up.
I'm going to let you talk up.
Okay, thank you.
Stop being so emotional, buddy.
No. Well, then shut up.
That's a female trait, Joseph.
Hit the like button, y'all.
That's a female trait, Joseph.
No, it's someone who's tired of hearing horse
shit. It's a female trait, Joseph.
Man, this is the best show ever. Thanks for inviting me back, JR. This is the best show ever, man.
Hey.
I'm gonna say this, okay?
All right, go ahead, Joe.
Look, just because you're the self-appointed boxing academic doesn't mean you know what you're looking at in the ring.
Ooh, okay? You got me, Joseph. Ooh, that really hurt me.
Ah, dude, you know what?
Get out your feelings, dude.
Let Joe continue.
Get out your feelings, dude.
I got a good
the reason why it's in my feelings, and it's not a female trait, just someone who knows.
Hey, Joseph, I can't scratch my nuts from hitting you in the face. Get off my nuts, man. How about that?
Oh my God,
this man all on my goddamn nuts.
What is going on here? Why has this program devolved?
Why are you all on my nuts, Joseph? I don't understand, man. Get the fuck off my nuts, man.
All right.
It's obvious to anyone who does.
What the fuck wrong with him, man?
No. I'm just pointing this out.
Damn, Joseph, I'm that good that I got I got my first troll. Damn.
No. It's just someone who's pointing out the obvious.
Joseph, you're my first troll. You're the first person who has had animosity against me for no fucking reason.
Am I gonna have to turn up? No, it is for a reason, but you're too stupid to fucking listen.
Oh yeah, I'm too stupid. That you got me on that one, Joseph.
I'm gonna turn up the mic then, so you'll fucking listen.
All right, I'm gonna let you talk, Joseph.
Okay, you look. Just because you take notes on shit doesn't mean it's accurate. It's obvious to anyone who knows what he's looking at.
Boxing is subjective, Joseph.
No, oh my God, dude, not when it comes to film study. That's
you telling me film study ain't subjective, Joseph?
Oh my God, no, it's not, dude. Scoring a prize fight is, because that includes personal tastes and preferences. But film study, that's X's and O's. That's as good as it gets. That's the only intangible that you can really rely on.
Joseph, you may see somebody in film study that throws 10 punches. You may see somebody in film study that throws 10 punches and stay a commentator. Okay, thank you. I can lower my voice now. You may see someone in film study that throws 10 punches and say he throws 10 punches. He's the best person and has the best motor. He can throw the best motor and do all of this and do all of that. And then another person can say he throws 10 punches and that makes him susceptible to being hit because he throws so many punches. It's subjective. There are some objective things, but guess what? There are objective things, but there are also some subjective. James, am I that good that I'm getting people mad at me for no reason?
Yes.
What the golly, boy?
Oh, Mike, great.
Joseph don't understand that I've been on this show for how many years now, James? For 6-7 years. I've been on this show since this started. You ain't gonna come on this show and out talk me just because you got a nice announcer voice. No, sir. I do not accept that.
Sexy, Mike? You think he sounds sexy, Mike?
I think he has a good announcer voice when he ain't being a fucking hater.
Oh, okay.
He was off today. His voice sound crackled.
Yo, Matt.
He sounded like he had a frog in his voice.
You know what the funny part about that whole thing was? Matt, you know what the funny part about that whole thing was?
What?
Boxing academic wanted Joseph to come in just so he could see if he could speak with you on it.
I thought they was gonna get into it. Joseph came attacking me. Golly. I thought Joseph was gonna attack you, man. Dang.
Well, it's like they always say, the best laid plans of mice and men almost always go astray.
Dang, man. I like Joseph. That's the crazy part about it. I respected what he did. And Joseph a fucking hater. God damn, Joseph. That shit ain't cool, man. I'm willing to have a truce with you, Joseph. I know I murdered you on this damn show, but I'm willing to, revive you, man. I'm just saying, I don't want no beef, man. I respect what you do. I think you have an excellent track record, but don't try to police me, man. I'm here with my little small niche in the sport, the boxing academic. Yes, it's self-appointed. I thought it was a great name personally, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's what you kind of you came up with in order to have something in reference to doing a potential channel on YouTube to, analyze specific fights here and there and things and whatnot. And
Can I say one more thing?
Point things out. Yeah.
I will never be the boxing source. I can only contribute to it. I will never, I don't have the desire. You know that, James.
Mhm.
Again, I respect what you do when you go to the fights and you cover it, because long time ago, that was your vision. You said you want to do this, you want to get into it heavy, and now you have amassed a platform that did everything you said you wanted to do. When I heard that, I'm like, you was like, Mike, I want you to do some of this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do some. But, I don't want to do it to the level you do it. I want to do it in my own way, which is analyzing boxing. I want to look at Floyd Mayweather. I want to look at Tyson Fury and talk about why Tyson Fury is the best that he is. And, when I get a little bit more time, I will do that. I'm going to put more content on my channel. But right now, I'm just analyzing, on the Boxing Source Show. And thank you for that thing. Tell Joseph I ain't got no problem with it, man. But, the other stuff, the emotional stuff, whatever make him feel however toward me, that's on him, man. He got to work that out on his own. But, yeah, man, I ain't got no problem with him. I just want to talk boxing. I get Jamil, that he, Philly down. I understand what he's saying, but I think Jamil was at least open to hearing what I'm saying, in that if you don't talk about the ups and the downs, both sides of it, then what kind of conversation will you have? I talked about the positive. I didn't say anything about Boots that wasn't, like everybody know Boots that got the goods. You want me to talk about, and I said that Philly style, that is a great style. That is a very attractive style. It's effective against the right style. But yeah, I'm gonna shut up, man.
Thank God. Oh my gosh. Yo, in the words of the great Adrian Broner, man, shut that soft shit up, man. Over here, cop of the plea. Oh no, I don't got no beef. Man, if it's beef, then it's beef. That's just the way it is, man. Everybody got their own opinions, okay? But some opinions are not worth listening to. Okay? We gotta get away from this. Everybody has a right to an opinion. No, they don't. I have a right to an opinion because I am smart, I am entertaining, okay, and I talk my shit. So I have a right to an opinion, but not
But who
everyone
decides
does.
who has a right to an opinion?
Me, I am the arbiter. Me, okay. Now,
Okay.
you have a right to an opinion on certain things. There are certain things I would not listen to Mike Grady about. I would not listen to Mike Grady about anything under 160 pounds. 'Cause I
Whoa,
know
whoa,
most likely Mike Grady
No,
did
no,
not even
no.
watch the fight.
Definitely not
I know
160,
Mike
buddy.
Grady did not.
Come on,
I know
160?
Mike probably
Seriously?
didn't watch the fight.
Nah,
Okay,
give me welterweight. Give me at least 140. I know the 140 division.
and I would not listen to Mike Grady about heavyweight because Mike Grady is not into heavyweights like that. Okay,
Matt,
so
Matt, you in 2019, you ain't been on the show that long. You still, hey Matt, you need to come into the modern times. Stop wearing them joggers with them white socks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You need to come into the
let me
times,
ask you a
man.
question. Do you now know who Naoya Inoue is?
Yes, man. And I'm gonna see we're gonna see who Inoue actually is when he fight Fulton.
Well,
I'm
well,
gonna see
well,
who he
see,
is.
no. This is what I don't like. We already know who Inoue is.
I don't, because I
And we
haven't watched many
already,
of his
yes,
fights.
yes, you
I will know
do.
who he is with
And
Fulton.
we know that that's not true. Win or lose, we know who Naoya Inoue is. You are seeing a fight between two of the best 5 pound for pound fighters in the world. That's all it is. You're
But you're
seeing
right,
two
Matt. I
great
don't follow
fighters
that
at a
division,
high
so I don't
level.
know.
Yeah, man, it's time. Listen, we got in the month of July, we got two matchups of the top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world. Two matchups.
Much.
Okay, you can have them 1, 2, 3, 4 in any order you want, but you have two matchups with the best 5 fighters in the world. Like, come on, what more could you want? All right, now listen, I like Boots, and Boots did his thing last night, but he's not on that level yet. You know, that's one thing you're right about. He's not on that level yet. I gotta see Boots against a Keith Thurman. I gotta see Boots against your Dennis Ugas. I gotta see Boots against these guys that's done it just to see like a real measure thing. Where's this guy at? But you can't say based off of last performance that he got too many flaws because every fighter has flaws. No one is perfect, but it's going to take a special kind of fighter to exploit those flaws. Okay? And I don't see any of these guys being special enough to fuck with Boots.
I said one thing that I think the dude will work on when he does face the Keith Thurman and everybody making it seem like I said he got 20 flaws or something. Did I say
Somebody
more than 2 flaws,
did
James?
somebody mention Keith Thurman, the former
Yeah.
unified welterweight champion of the world? What's up, y'all?
Yeah, what
What's
you got a
going
problem
on?
with
What's
Keith
going
Thurman?
on?
You got a problem with Keith Thurman?
No, I love Keith Thurman. That's my dog. JR know.
Yep.
Oh,
That's his
That's my
guy.
boy.
That's his guy. He said the number one guy at the 147 is Keith Thurman, according to Pound for Pound Sports.
Yeah, can't nobody take that from him. Pacquiao did it, but hey, he's not fighting anymore, so whatever. Anyway, I mean, as far as Boots is concerned, man, listen, if Keith Thurman and Boots ever got it on, that'd be a hell of a fight. I don't know how that would go, but at the same time, from the performance that Boots put on last night, boy, he looked good, man. He looked like he could do whatever he wanted to do last night.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was just a great overall performance there by Boots. Against a guy like I said was someone that had the attributes to bring that out of Boots. I mean, he was there, to be right in front of him. Not much head movement as far as like defense is concerned. I really don't see that much. I think it was more of like him taking punches was his best defense, and that's where he got the best offense out of it because he was able to land some good counter shots on Jaron Ennis by doing that. But overall, just taking all them shots over the course of those rounds was just way too much for him, and ended up having that knockout. It was just more of like when was Boots Ennis going to at least score a knockdown on Roy Maivia there, and it took him till the 10th round. But once he got it in, it was a stoppage. It pretty much like capped off the performance that Boots Ennis had there in that instance. There, big ups to Pound for Pound joining in, man. Fred. So what do you think about the question? I mean, do you think Boots is the next guy up at welterweight, or like you said, or like Matt said, he got to face those guys. He got to face the Keith Thurman. He got to face your Dennis Ugas. Or he got to face someone like an Ian Stanionis there before he's crowned as the guy that's supposed to be next up at 147.
I mean, yeah, he's gonna have to face those guys. I mean, a couple of days ago, I dropped a video basically talking about the Virgil Ortiz situation and kind of like talking about I guess, so to speak, the death of the future of the welterweight division, because we all knew it was going to be Conor Benn, Boots, Virgil Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Those were the next guys in line to take it over. But Conor Benn over there eating too many eggs, according to the WBC. You know what I'm saying? Getting popped hot. Virgil Ortiz, I don't know what's going on with him. He's got his condition and stuff. It is what it is. He need to come back to 160 if he can come back at all. And Boots, I mean, that's it. He's the only one left out of the future. So give him a Stanionis, give him a Ugas, Keith Thurman. Let's keep this thing rolling, baby.
So you saying it's going to be I mean, obviously it is. I mean, you prophesizing, but you saying it's going to be an attrition in 147 where Boots is just taking off, whoever left.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
Default type thing, where everybody else, well, most of the people that could have been a potential guy that could have been, the future of welterweight division, they're pretty much out, either, by Wade or whatever, so it's like Boots is just left there by default.
I think the biggest fight that Boots can get if he stays there and handles his business will probably be like a Keith Thurman or Terrence Crawford if he stays at 147. But I mean, that's the biggest fights he can get, man.
Now, what do you think about Matt's suggestion that hey, it could be if Boots stays at 147 long enough, that could be Gary Antoine Russell.
I mean, hey, make it happen. If you want to come up to 47, cool. You know, I don't know. I know he beat. How many times did he beat Boots in the amateurs? What, twice? Couple times?
Yeah, it was at least twice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know Boots really probably wants that bet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can make a storyline out of it. You know how they try to make up little stories like, oh, he did this in the amateurs, all that shit. But I mean, hey, it's about money right now. That's what I think it's about. And Gary Antoine, does he have a fight coming up pretty soon?
Well, I'm waiting to see if they have him at the MGM National Harbor over here in the DC area against Kent Cruz. But we'll see. How they're going to plan that out. Tip Bailey says, "Hey, maybe Mario Barrios next for Jaron Boots Ennis." That wouldn't be good.
That would get ugly.
Yeah,
that'd be actually worse.
Yeah, it would be very much worse because his resistance is nowhere near what's his name.
Via. Yeah, I don't see it, man. Like you went up against a dynamic puncher and Tank Davis at 140. Now you're going up against a dynamic puncher and Boots Ennis at 147. Yeah.
See what Keith Thurman did to him?
Right. What did he say? Almost turn him into a Klingon or something?
The Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar or whatever it is, man.
I mean, salute to Barrios, though. He's a good fighter.
You said Tip says Barrios is a better boxer. Yeah, I mean he's a better boxer than
Look at his next comment.
Yeah, but way more durable.
He done got beat up a few times, man. I'm not sure how much the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak, man. I'm not sure how much. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's not gonna have the same fate as Figueroa, one of the Figueroas.
Oh, I got it. You can put this fight in Philly. Jaron Boots Ennis, Blair Cobbs. It's gonna sell out, baby. That's a pay-per-view. Come on now. Blair Cobb's gonna talk himself into a big ass pay-per-view. You already know.
That would be that's like how Rolly Romero got himself a take fight.
Hey, they did over 1 million pay-per-view buys, baby.
Now, I don't know about that the joint doing 1 million for that one, but Blair the Flair against Boots Ennis.
Hey.
I don't know, man. I mean, like Joe said, maybe they want to see about building Boots over there in Atlantic City, but yeah, having him in Philly for that would kind of be there. Just like Blair the Flair.
Salute to Blair, man.
So that could be potentially it, man. But
hey, I got one more thing about Atlantic City.
All right.
I don't appreciate what's his name trying to come at me because I went to one of the last matches in Atlantic City, at least one I can remember, when Broner fought there. So he need to tell me what he know about what I do, in the sport, which is not much, but I'm just saying I went to plenty of Broner matches, one in Atlantic City.
Right. But the other thing too is like, hey, this is one thing in reference to the sport of boxing, with it being an individual sport. You pretty much have just that one fighter there in the limelight. So, I mean, you're gonna see all the good and you're gonna see all the bad, and you're gonna point out, all of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Shout out Maurice Jones, man. He said it to him. By source, peace and blessings, aka Mr. Riddick Bowe. Much love for Bo Maurice Jones for Four Corners Boxing. Y'all be sure to hit up Four Corners Boxing as well. Pound for pound sports entertainment, the boxing academic, of course, YSM Sports Media. A lot of my brothers are here in the boxing YouTube circle. Okay, y'all be sure to hit up all their content and check them out. And if y'all enjoyed this current podcast, y'all can hit the like button too, and also subscribe to the Boxing Source. I'm working on getting this interview up from Frank Martin ahead of his bout that he has against Artem Harutyunyan at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. It says Mo Jones here live says, what a great performance last night, by Boots. Yeah, Atlantic City was on full alert, and Philly was packed, in the building. Yeah, we definitely had a lot of folks in there from Philly that supported. Had some people there that came up, also from the DC area. A couple folks I know, like A-Side Boxing. Also, he's on YouTube there also as well. A-Side Boxing Talk. He was there in attendance too. A couple other guys there from the DC area was able to make it too. So. It was a good little atmosphere there in the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City to see that. And I know that we had a couple of other fights there that were part of that Showtime card, and that first one, man, De Los Santos. It was De Los Santos, Joseph Adorno. Like some people were like looking ahead to that, saying that was going to be a pretty good bout, but that was nothing, man. De Los Santos pretty much showed that he was a much faster fighter, quicker and all of that. And he showed that from early. And I think after, round 3 or 4, Adorno, almost kind of conceded, so to speak. There were a couple of things that he did in that fight that, got some success, but he didn't really do much to build on it. And with him not being able to do much to build on that, and De Los Santos kind of being more of a counter puncher style, so he kind of waits on his opponents. He doesn't really do anything to, be more aggressive. It just made that fight just really, really bad. And so, went through 10 rounds of that, and that's where you like seeing like the boo birds out there in the last round or whatever it is. And yeah, De Los Santos got the win, clear win, near shutout, but as far as like the lightweight division, man, I'm not sure what he does in the lightweight division, man. Like some folks said, like, hey, you keep him away from Frank Martin. That's right now. Like if we revisited this earlier, question from Maurice Jones. After Boots' performance, who would you want to see Boots fight next? Stanionis, Thurman, or Ugas? Well, Big Pound for Pound has his vote on who he wants to see Boots fight. And I said Iman Stanionis. I mean, but Stanionis, of course, had the tough break. A couple of days before the fight was supposed to happen against Virgil Ortiz Jr. Virgil Ortiz had to be scrapped from the fight, so I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be next for Stanionis. I think he said like he wants to have a interim title defense or a voluntary title defense of that WBA regular title at welterweight. So he'll probably fight like a Gabriel Maestre or somebody like that, or a Jamal James or whatever. But yeah, after that, then yeah, like him against Boots would be a pretty good fight. Ugas, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like Ugas is kind of like a weird matchup, so to speak, for Boots Ennis, but I don't think he's gonna move around as much as Karen Chukadze did. So that could end up not being good for him. And Keith Thurman, of course, that would be the probably most lucrative fight there for Boots Ennis. You just got to see what ends up happening here. They're supposed to formally announce this thing for August 12th. It looks like between Keith Thurman and Yordanis Ugas. So I'm just waiting on that, and then see what happens there with the winner. And then maybe Thurman could get in on that, but we'll see. Yeah.
Can I answer that as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I agree. Definitely, out of those three names, Stanionis is the logical choice, because I mean you can put them in the same sort of not level, but same box tier, same tier. Yeah. Like obviously everybody can project Boots his projection higher than that guy, but they're in the same tier. With Ugas, when he gets to where he breaks the tier, I think it should be against a Ugas. And I think they should save a Keith Thurman, because again, the Jared Anderson fight should have told us. I'm not relating Charles Martin to Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman, to me, as his place in welterweight, he's a higher tier than what Charles Martin is. But you know, the relation is former champions. Ugas is the best like gatekeeper for him, and
Mm.
that'll supplant his name. I don't think we should rush him with Keith Thurman, even though Keith Thurman got a glaring issue that Boots will take advantage of, and that may be how Boots win that fight through the body. It ain't gonna make it's gonna be part of how he touches chin. He gonna hit him to the body. He gonna hurt Keith Thurman, and then he may knock him out to the head, or he may, Keith Thurman's tough, but he may hurt him to the body, and Keith Thurman may not be able to recover. But that's gonna be a big problem for Keith Thurman when he does face somebody like that.
Mm.
Hmm.
Now, Tip Bayless mentioned Cody Crowley. Yeah, Crowley is another guy that that's up there in the mix. He's still undefeated there in the welterweight division. Did have victory over Abel Ramos a few months ago at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. That was part of that. What was it? The Plant Benavidez card. So yeah, he's still in the mix there in the welterweight division. It's just that he gotta fight somebody that's around that range. Now I don't know. Maybe if Crowley can't get any of the fights against most of the fighters that we mentioned, maybe he's out there against someone like Radza Batayev, who did lose to Iamana Stanionis last year, but I feel like Radza Batayev is another one of those tough fighters that's out there in the welterweight division that Cody Crowley could face. So it's definitely that, man.
Let him fight Barrios.
Yeah, Crowley and Barrios. Yeah, that would be a very good fight to have around that. Like I said, the tiers there in the welterweight division. Those two could happen. He said Crowley versus Blair the Flair also could be a potential matchup. Hey man, y'all keep the legend of Blair the Flair alive or something. You know what I'm saying? He also Rashidi Ellis against Mario Barrios. That would be an interesting
Yeah,
matchup.
that would definitely be
I like
a good
that.
matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, Rashidi Ellis against Mario Barrios. That would be a real good matchup there at that welterweight. I would like to see that. Earlier Maurice Jones said reference to Edward De Los Santos. Yeah, he would definitely have a problem with the top tier lightweights and better competition. There, man. Yeah, I know the De Los Santos had a little bit of a period where he was calling out all these lightweights. He was calling out Shakur Stevenson and Isaac Cruz and all these other fighters there at lightweight. But like I said, his style is just not really all too attractive for a number of those fighters. Now him against someone like an Isaac Cruz. That would probably be a good matchup. Someone like Isaac Cruz that's aggressive, come forward style against a counter puncher like Edwin De Los Santos. That would be a good little matchup to have there. But as far as like the other potential fights, I'm not sure how that would work out there for De Los Santos. And I know that we had like another fight there. What was it? Yoelvis Gomez there that fought Marquise Taylor. And Yoelvis Gomez is, another fighter that kind of like has that counter punching type of style. He wasn't really aggressive in this particular fight. He was just waiting to see what Marquise Taylor was doing, and he ended up getting caught, early in that fight with that knockdown. And I mean, outside of that, man, I said like Yoelvis just really didn't have much of a jab at all in this particular instance, and him not having a jab was pretty much his downfall, and he ended up losing by decision. Tip says, "Hey, what was it? Oh, De Los Santos there and Shakur gotta and next year. Shakur keeps saying that he ain't got no one to fight. Well, there you go. Of course, over the past few days, Shakur Stevenson talked about, Devin Haney don't want to fight me, man. He don't want to fight me." And he said, "Hey, maybe maybe Lomachenko, maybe we can do something." He said, but Lomachenko says, "Hey, man, I think I still have a rematch up there with Devin Haney." So Shakur is like looking like he don't have really a dance partner, man. He said Shakur said he couldn't find De Los Santos because he wasn't in the top 10 ranking. Hey, I mean, I guess that's how he feels about it with De Los Santos, so to speak, man.
At this point, Shakur should just go up to 140, bro. Go get that vacant WBO belt that Tio just gave up.
Yeah, if he, if Teofimo says that he's retired, you got a vacant WBO belt. Hey, if you feel like you can go up to 140, go up there and talk with Bob Arum and those guys there in Top Rank and say, hey, I'll go up to 140 and try to go for that belt.
He sure will have, path of least resistance to unify the belt. So,
Yep.
as far as the division goes,
or he could fight Jermaine Ortiz at 135.
That's what I was thinking. I thought he would have, tried to get something in with Jermaine Ortiz in 135, but I haven't seen nothing on that yet. So, I mean that's how that goes, man. It just looks like some people feel like he's just not looking all too good as far as like the PR stuff is concerned. So, he came off of fighting Yoshino in April and getting that win against Yoshino, but outside of that, if he didn't get his thing in there with Devin Haney, then he'd have to try to get in with try to get another fight in. I think he should get another fight in before fighting someone like Haney there for the undisputed titles, but that's neither here nor there. They had like a little bit of action that's coming up next week. Like I said, you got Frank Martin going up against Artem Harutyunyan. They're in the lightweight division. You got Elvis Rodriguez versus Victor Postal as part of that card in at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. You got Nonito Donaire going up against Alejandro Santiago for bantamweight, which I guess the boxing academic won't care that much about. Who knows?
I'll definitely watch the fight.
And also, Alicia Baumgartner is going to be fighting in Detroit, Michigan. Andy Cruz will have his pro debut. Of course, Olympic gold medalist Andy Cruz there will have his debut against Juan Carlos Burgos. That's other action there that's coming up on Saturday. So we'll see if we could go on that. Shabbat Hall in the building here says Shakur signed with the wrong people. Oh, so you're saying that he signed with the wrong promoter? No, I mean, but I mean the thing is, with Shakur Stevenson, some people know about Shakur Stevenson and who's over Shakur Stevenson and whatnot. With Jay Prince, you got Jay Prince in the building. Shout out to him. Of course, you got the whole thing with Top Rank. You had Andre Ward, there. Having a little bit of a say too. So there's that. We got like another guest coming in here. Checking in, it's the chef Terrell in the building, man. What's happening with you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Great to be here. Glad to be in the month of July with some great boxing matchups. We already know we lost one guy for the count in Ortiz, but we're going to move forward with what we got, and we got a considerable amount of great matches to go within this month. So very, very excited.
Hey, Terrell, I got a question for you.
Yep.
Where you been, man?
I'm right here.
Why haven't you been on this show to protect my honor? Joseph came for me earlier, man.
Tell me what happened. Give me the details.
I torched his ass. What you mean? What you mean? The details? Do you see him? I cooked his ass. You see that guacamole? I turned his ass to my eyes bad. What's the one over there to the right? Man, that man came for me for no reaon.
Who that?
Joseph.
I mean, JR, we all got family. You know that.
Yeah.
Be nice, Terrell.
I want it's been going on for a while. It's been going for a good while, and for one of us to say it has not been an enjoyable experience. I never want to say that, but real talk, it's been like that. But all love to everybody, and I love what everyone brings here to the show, to the podcast, from all the stuff on Twitter, the sharing. JR, you doing your on site with the boxes. We love that. Not enjoy, we love that. We all enjoyed it, but this is a place that we can all come to and rely on, and we can exercise our boxing thoughts. And I need this. This is our favorite sport. So I mean, sometimes we all need to be checked from time to time, you know. And I enjoy and respect all the experience that people bring to the show, because you guys have done stuff that I have not done. You guys have done stuff that I still wish that I can do, and I hopefully will do sometime in covering the sport of boxing and things like that. But still, despite that, I'm a fan and definitely glad to be a part of the show. I'm not even sure how me and you. Matter of fact, I remember now, Jay. I think me and you talked way back when at Caribbean Connections, and we were having to talk outside the place and everything. And that's what happened. Found out that you were into boxing like that.
Yeah,
that's where we got our start at and everything. That's when you talking about the podcast, and then just going forward. Was it?
Hey, like, well, overall, I mean, what has it been? Like, this is like the ninth season, whatnot. So,
yeah. But other than that, we've had so many good spirited exchanges here on the show. But the thing about it, everyone has always respect each one on the show all the time, and that's the least you guys for from another man. Give me respect as a man. Respect my opinion. If I'm wrong, then tell me I'm wrong. Be a man enough to accept that I'm wrong. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, don't just go talking all over me and things like that. And you know, anything I'm saying right now, y'all know me. I'll say it to somebody's face. Ain't no problem with that. Ain't no problem with that at all. But you know, just bring respect each other, and demand that from yourself. You know, and so we can grow and enjoy the sport as a whole. You see what I'm saying? Just, you know, that's how it is.
I respect you, Terrell. I respect you, Terrell.
You missed out. I'm telling you, you really.
Just go back and listen to it, and then you'll understand.
Oh my goodness.
Definitely. You already know. I listen to every week. When I'm not on, I listen to the show.
I'm gonna start over talking the boxing source. He keep on. I ain't gonna let him get a word in. I'm just messing with you. It's good to have you, Terrell.
Hey, real quick, Jay. Hopefully, Hank Lundy, hammering Hank Lundy. I hit him up on Twitter. Hope we can get him on the show. See what I'm saying? Just give him a different perspective. We'll see.
All right, for sure. Yeah, that would definitely be good to have Hank on here to join us on the boxing source and whatnot, man. You know, Terrell, what you checked out the thing there with Boots versus Villa. You see Boots get that stoppage victory, so wanted to get your take on it here.
Yeah. So in the show's famous words of one of their prominent supporting members, I didn't see the fight.
Everybody taking shots at me tonight. I'm gonna tell you, Matt started this, man. Hey, Terrell. Matt came in the show. His boxing title was Mike Grady. You don't know shit about boxing.
Oh, really?
And then that shit egged. Jamil came in. Jamil had it for me. But you know, Jamil was respectful. I respect Jamil. I love what he does and stuff. And then that's when Joseph came in, and you know, respect just left out the window. You know, maybe Joseph heard Matt doing the shit, and he don't understand that. You know, Matt, always do that. But I don't know, man. It's just, it took a different turn. Yeah, but again, like you said, we got a lot of respect. You know, people put in a lot of hard work, and I don't take it personally. You know, I know I had to eat his ass up tonight. No homo. Oh shit! Don't cancel me. I'm about to get off the internet. Damn, man. Don't cancel me, man.
You did say no homo. You did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Just say cap. Just say cap.
JR, you better cut. You better chop that.
Hey, just say cap.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta say the new people slang thing. I'm gonna get canceled because I'm gonna say the new no cap. No cap.
Just say,
Oh
All right, man. I'm done. I done said enough. I'm not talking no more.
you said they try to get the TKO you today, huh?
Yeah, man. You added the last jab. That's all I was saying.
they try to go after the boxing academic tonight, man. Oh my god.
I'm just waiting on Jane. I'm waiting on the boxing sword to come at me. That's all I'm just waiting on. It'll be complete then. He gonna say one before he end the show.
Nah, man. I'm good, man. I'm good. Like I said, man. I mean, at the start of the show, I was saying like, I was still recovering from that trip, man. But this show here, man, this was a revival to me, man.
Man, I done boosted your ratings, man. We need to tell what's his name to come on now. The Haitian dude.
Zoe. I should have thought about Zoe, man. But him or my guy Troy, Troy to get back on.
Oh, I meant Troy. Okay, Troy, not Haitian then. I meant Troy.
Yeah. So I felt to reach out to him on the day, man. But that was pretty much a packed show or whatnot, man. That made this almost 2 hours. It pretty much almost felt like it went by quick for me, man. I would close off on that, man. Shout out to everybody that's been on the Boxing Academic on, Brother Terrell, of course. Like I said, two biggest contributors here to the Boxing Source. Been pretty much been with us here since the beginning, man. And all the other guests that joined in, YSL, Matt, of course, MVO, Joseph, speak when he had to speak on here. This was a show, boy.
Hey, real quick, I've seen enough clips on Twitter just kind of digest the Ennis fight and just reading on the post fight, things like that. So I'm definitely going to watch the fight again this week when I get a chance. But totally impressed. I mean, just impressed. I mean, dude just made another statement. Find Villa a big, strong welterweight. We know that Villa doesn't have a definitive resume at this point, but he definitely not part of in his last fight against what's the black kid's name?
Ellis.
Yeah, Ellis. Ellis didn't have nothing for him pretty much, but Villa's a big, strong guy. Nothing. He's a solid B fighter at this point, but definitely just went out and made a statement. Hand speed, southpaw, orthodox, jab.
Yep.
It was amazing performance. Amazing on the stuff that I saw. I'm definitely going to watch the fight. Even with the tribute to I forgot what round he did, that little trip step was his tribute to what's the dude named August dude back in the day that fought Mayweather, the drunken boxer. Remember that?
Emmanuel Augustus.
Yeah. He even did that in one round. Funny, but that shows you that he can entertain and carry a fight. And this dude is ready for the fight. He's ready for the top. I mean, he's at the top. I mean, at this point now, it's Spence, Crawford, Ennis, and everybody else at this point. So that's 147.
Until he beat Keith Thurman, I think Keith Thurman has earned his place as number 3, respectfully. But I'm sorry, keep going, Terrell.
Yeah, no problem with that. And hopefully the Thurman Ugas fight comes into fruition next month. I got when that's supposed to happen. I'm not sure that's confirmed. I think Jaron probably can speak on that, but Ugas Thurman could definitely give us something to consider at 147. But the top, we got the creme de la creme at the top of 147. Crawford, Spence, Ennis, and whoever else. So, but he made a great performance. I don't need to say a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, with his performance, like he showed where he could be, potentially there among that top 3 or whatever it is in the welterweight division. But like Boxing Academic said, you still got Keith Thurman out there. That's still a factor that has been for a long time, one of those top fighters there in the welterweight division. So we got to see what happens here once they pretty much formally announced this whole thing with Keith Thurman and Yordenis Ugas. What happens with that fight? Keith Thurman gets to that fight, then we see if he goes up against Bruce Ennis or not, depending on what happens in the top of the welterweight division between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. So we'll see, what happens. I guess after those next few weeks there, because by the end of August, we'll see if those belts get dispersed or vacated or whatever it is, or if you still have one more fight by the winner of that bout on July 29th. With that being said, that's like here we are close to about 2 hours in for this particular episode here. I thank everyone for pitching in, whether it was on live or through the chat. Thank of course Steph there for the contribution here on the live. Like I said, I'll be right back at it here on Sunday, next Sunday, man. We'll get it in on the boxing talk or whatnot. And but like I said, for the YouTube channel, if y'all haven't done so already, you can hit the subscribe button for the YouTube channel. If you like the content here on this video, you can hit the like button. Soon I'll have the interview with Frank Martin posted up on the YouTube channel. So y'all be able to check that out. And like I said, at the end of every show, folks, point of boxing is hit, not get hit, not understand and trade. On that note, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody.